Yes, please.
Got down. I'm so confused.
So we're having a recess
Okay.
and that's fine. Motion to resume the meeting. Sure. Thanks. All in favor? Carried. Resume the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. I can stay a little bit,
Very much.
but yeah. Okay. Not disturbing everyone.
There's information, please.
I'll move to accept.
Accept his information. All in favor? Carried. Okay. 1.2 MPE CCTI IF abatement and demolition building update.
Okay, so we're pretty steadily forward on our project here with the CCTIF project. So there has been an additional bit of demolition and abatement work that needs to be conducted. So I'm actually going to get Jason to explain the scope and the idea and how to go about the project, because he's in depth in this. So with them, and then just gonna explain why, maybe we can start with what we've done so far and then where we're at, and then go from there. And then just remember, we only have 15 minutes for.
Okay. So far we have gone through the 3 locations on Royal Street. We have completed all the abatement as far as the hazardous material and clean demo through all 3 buildings. It is under structural review right now, all 3 of them, just to review the current status and a few of the issues that were revealed when we did the abatement and the demo. There is some additional abatement required on 4907, which is adjacent, the 2 adjacent locations on the east side of Royal Street. The roof needs to be replaced and requires some more abatement for some hazardous material that's on the roof as far as the flashings. So that's basically what we have completed so far. The progress is the structural review of the existing buildings, and the additional abatement has been quoted and estimated, but until the structural review is complete, we don't know the extent of the further demolition we would require. So.
Yeah, that would be the old Wild Rose restaurant. So currently right now we're looking at around, I believe, 36,000 in abatement additional portions. And then we're also looking at the repair monitoring that would be required for that for around 3,000. Demolition of around 63,000 of the roof. Now, I believe from what the discussion is, if the removal of the roof is done correctly and it's done properly, it would actually save costs on the construction side where the types of materials used could be different. I'll let you kind of looking at it a little bit.
Well, now that we've completed the demo and we're able to look at the structure, determining further demolition without compromising the existing structure is what we're looking at. So if we can salvage the existing skeleton and just resurface the exterior of it, that will save a lot of costs, but that's pending on structural mediation inside the buildings, so. As we're doing the structural review and remedial options, the abatement could probably go forward. Even if the building was demoed, we would still have to do that abatement on that. So we could proceed with that demo of the abatement to get it cleaned up. And then a roofing contractor could come out actually and then do any further demo, so.
So this total estimated cost of $103,000, that's in addition to what we've already done.
Yes. Yes.
Now, that's gonna make the building part of it cheaper. Is it gonna make it that much cheaper?
That's kind of where the structural review comes in. If we could not remove the floor and the roof members and save the skeleton, then our abatement costs are 50,000 or about there, in additional costs instead of demolition for the floor and the roof, and then a rebuild cost on top of that, so.
Objective are we looking for here? Like what? So in order to move forward, we'd need permission from council to move forward with finishing the structural. And also, once we know what the structural is, we could either bring that back to council for further review or proceed forward with the additional abatement and the demolition based on what the abatement and the structural come back with.
So was this stuff that was, you couldn't see before?
Correct, yeah, it was hidden behind the drip rock, it was hidden behind inside walls, it was basically closed off until it got opened up.
How is that gonna affect our budget on the project?
We're hoping it's not gonna have a huge impact, like we're still under budget from what we did in the last, so we came in quite substantially lower. I have numbers mapped out here, but I think we're sitting probably 100,000, I would estimate right now below what we had initially anticipated, so we're kind of on track. But I could definitely get that and follow up with that.
Yeah,
It's kind of nice to know where we're actually at. Now, you're asking for do the asbestos abatement and the air monitoring and the clean demolition, or just the abatement?
Right now, I think we would want to just do the abatement until we get the structural back. We don't want to really touch anything until the structural reports come. That's what we need
So
to,
it's more like 40,000 then, not 100 and.
right now, yeah.
regardless, the abatement's gotta be done one way or the other.
Yeah.
Tear the thing down, we gotta do the abatement.
Yeah. Oh.
Prove that and bring the rest back after.
Yeah.
We'll make that motion.
And like Jason's saying, we don't want to move forward on structural changes unless it's absolutely necessary, because the more we take off, the less structurally sound the building is, and then the more damage we're doing long term. Especially now that we're heading into snow season, we don't want to open that up more than we need to, longer than we need to. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we should probably go with it. It's,
Gonna have to do it one way or the other, the abatement, so.
yep. Get that stuff cleaned out and.
But yeah, and then if you could show us numbers.
And then just so council's aware, the other two buildings were completely cleaned out. I believe there's 4914. There is an addition that needs to be removed, and that was not calculated in the previous quotes. It's about $8,700 to have that labor, materials and waste removed. Jason, can you maybe just explain why that addition has to come down?
So the addition on the north side of 4914 actually has a wood foundation. And it's been backfilled and not protected as it would be required, so. Fairly difficult to salvage the structure that's there. And so removing it, I think, helps keep the integrity of the existing building.
Okay. Which property is this? The other, the one right beside it?
No, this would be on the one
On
on
this one over here?
Masonville.
The link on the north side
Okay,
is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
basically a lean-to added on to the
Yeah.
existing building and.
yeah, I know exactly which part you're talking about now, yes.
So,
And unfortunately, some of the way the carpentry skills in there are a little bit questionable and they're
Well,
not.
doesn't matter, doesn't matter what that, if it needs to go, it needs to go.
Yep.
just, yeah, for the setbacks and everything else, I think it would be a benefit to get rid of it for sure.
There's about that much setback from the right now, so.
So that would be what we'd also additionally ask for, and part of the motion would be to finish that portion of it and then.
I'll make that motion.
And there was also the mechanical equipment in 4907 that there was a cost to that.
That was the old
It's the old furnace and chimney and mechanical equipment in there. That was a very reasonable demolition cost for it as well.
yeah,
So do you want one motion for 4907, one for 4914?
two motions would be fine, or you can do one, it doesn't matter. We just
Make one motion to proceed with what they're asking for, bring it back for the other. And they. For the first part, they were gonna come back with numbers after.
Back of what we've spent and what we're,
Yeah, so I'll just clarify that. So we'll move forward on 4907's additional abatement. For around we'll say $40,000, just to be on the safe side. We'll bring back the rest of that information after it's been out, and then 4914 Royal Street, we'll move forward with the addition removal for 9,000. I think it'll work out to after GST. And then with the condition that we do bring back the structural survey reports and costs breakdown.
and like I say, if you ask us by email, because we don't want to hold this up waiting for another meeting.
Yeah.
And
Approve it at the meeting.
what about the mechanical that you just mentioned?
That's it, that includes it, right? And to remove the mechanical equipment as well.
Yeah, and we'll have
Okay. Yeah,
Okay, well, you just didn't say it, so.
Sorry.
I'm sure it's there.
Sure, I'm glad you caught that.
Okay.
And what we'll do, just to make sure that we're clear with the motion, we'll send it out in an email before, and council can look at the motion as well.
Okay, all in favor of Cody's motion? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go safe trip home. 8.1. Community debrief. Recent emergency evacuation following chemical spill.
So
It seems like a long time ago now, but
I'll get the fire chief to sit with me on this one and we'll go through it together. Yeah, so I'll start off with, so I'd like to provide an overview and an update on the chemical spill incident that occurred on October 1st, 2024 at a private residence. The safety and well-being of all residents has been and always has been the priority of town of Coronation and its subsidiaries. We appreciate the cooperation throughout this event. On October 1st, the town received reports of a strong odor at a private residence, later suspected to be mercaptan. As commonly used as an odorant in natural gas, while non-toxic in small amounts, mercaptan can cause respiratory irritation and discomfort in high concentrations. Knowing this, Alberta Environment and Alberta Health were immediately informed, and additional first responder agencies were mobilized to assess and manage the situation. The incident response, the following agencies collaborated in responding to the incident was ACOGAS, who ruled out the natural gas leak, isolated the main service line, and monitored the air quality. Alberta Environment provided oversight to ensure environmental safety and proper handling of the chemical spill. Alberta Health remained informed and conducted sampling of the affected materials to assess any health risks. RCMP secured the area and assisted with the temporary evacuation of nearby residents. Coordination Fire and Rescue supported on-scene coordination and assisted in implementing the safety protocols. The municipality's role, the town of Coronation, was not the lead agency in managing this chemical mitigation process. Our role was to provide logistical and administrative support to first responders and collaborate with Alberta Health and Alberta Environment. The town assisted with these agencies in their efforts to identify and isolate the contaminant and help to ensure the safe disposal of contaminated materials. As far as the evacuation as a precaution, the evacuation of the immediate area was ordered around 9 p.m. based on the gas readings indicated elevated levels. The evacuation lasted approximately 2.5 hours, allowing for air quality monitoring and ensuring safe return for residents. Excuse me. Incident mitigation and cleanup. Odor masking agents were applied to the affected areas and contaminated soils were removed to prevent further spread. Alberta Environment monitored the site over several days and verbally confirmed that the file was closed on October 3rd, 2024, which we are still waiting to receive written confirmation. Agency file closures. The following cleanup, both Environment and Alberta Health have closed their files. Alberta Environment confirmed on October 3rd, indicating that the environmental protocols were met and the incident mitigation was implemented as required. Alberta Health completed a final review and closed their file on October 8th with no further actions required. So again, just want to do some acknowledgements for the first responders. We extend our sincere thanks to all the responders involved, first responders involved, including ACO Gas, Alberta Environment, Alberta Health, RCMP, Coronation Fire and Rescue, for their professionalism, dedication, and swift actions, as they were crucial in ensuring that the safety of our community and we appreciate their commitment throughout the incident. Community follow-up on this was throughout the incident, updates were provided to community and supportive services were made available to affected residents directly. We are grateful for the patience shown by all. Thank you for cooperating. I will open up for any questions council may have.
First, I'd like to thank the fire department, the RCMP, the town staff for being involved. I think they've done a very professional job and kept everybody safe. And there was a lot of moving parts there because we had more than just a gas leak that day too, and they handled them all very well.
Chris, I don't know if you want to add anything or.
Well, I think you got it covered pretty good. Thank you to all the community members that cooperated with us and helped out, and the firefighters and first responders. And I also wanted to special mention to CAO, who has done has been very busy, and I think special mention there for working with us. I think we worked really well together, and I know you had a lot of work on your end after the incidents. Thanks very much for that, Quinn. Much appreciated.
They'll hear you better if you sit at that. Sorry.
But you want me to say it again? Or?
Sorry, I should have interrupted you, but you're doing pretty good. So yeah.
And I just want to reiterate, we did have a lot of conversations with Alberta Environment, Alberta Health Services. They were informed as soon as there was an indication of what this was. There was a file open, and it was actually opened by ACO, which the file remained open until the end. So reporting was essential, and I know Chris and I went back and forth with Environment quite a lot. And there were specific protocols that they had requested from us to assist the private landowner. Now, one of the things and the misconception that may have gotten out there is that this was a municipal issue. It was not a municipal issue. This was something that was we assisted on, and this was something that we were helping provide services to the private landowner, and had the municipality felt there was an obligation to make sure that we can get this dealt with as soon as possible. The homeowner was more than happy to help or get our assistance. Obviously, they had no way of dealing with this on their own with those resources. So there was a lot of collaboration in making sure that this was dealt with as soon as possible, as quickly as possible. Alberta Health at no point had indicated to us that they had any major concerns, and they felt that the way that the medication had been taken and the precautions that were taken were adequate and above and beyond what we needed to do.
Mhm.
So they have stated that they were more than happy with the way that things had gone, and they have taken the sampling and come back with it. And they provided a feedback just saying that they were happy with the way that things were handled. So know that there were a lot of members of the community that were upset with the smell and the odor. That was, unfortunately, there was nothing we could do about that, but the deodoring masking agent that we had applied was applied as soon as possible, and we did have an actual expert that came in and did that for us to make sure that it was handled and bagged and soiled and treated appropriately the way it needed to, and it was taken down to a facility in Lethbridge for disposal. But they weren't able to dispose, obviously weren't able to dispose it right away because they had to keep it for the environment to test and AHS to test. So I believe it's gone for disposal now, but I'm not too sure because it's out of my hands now. It's not something that they're providing me with updates on what they're doing with the product.
But there's a lot of stuff to follow, getting rid of something like that.
And environment
And
does.
you go to somebody who is accredited to get rid of it, like.
An environment was very specific on what they wanted and how they wanted it, and they were happy with how the fire department and the town and yeah, ACO and everyone involved had handled the situation. So yeah, I can't thank everyone enough. It was obviously not a pleasant smell, and it wasn't a pleasant time, and hopefully
People get worried because they smell it and then they smell it again and whatever.
and the thing is with that, we
Had to find out what it was, because it wasn't like it was just a gas line leak where you could tell where it is right away, so.
And the other thing with that too is we don't want the community to just be discouraged to call any of those issues. We really do want you to keep calling, like as much as you know, the smell was there, we still encourage people to call. We don't know, we're not, you know, we're not chemical experts by any means, no.
Well,
And
and
encourage that.
I'd had people who smelled it afterwards and I was told to call 911, like,
And that's the right thing to do. We're never gonna
call 911 and they'll let you know, and if you need to bring ACO or, you know, people out again, then they will, like.
yeah, and that's the appropriate action, and that's the first action that we would like people to continue. We don't want anyone to feel that, you know, they've maybe felt like a nuisance or an issue. We want people to be able to make sure that they're safe. And that also helped us keep getting resources. So it's one of those things where it's not an actual problem to do what you think is right. Appreciate it.
No, very much appreciate everybody's work on that too. Very good job.
I can tell you, it was, wasn't pleasant being close to it. I feel bad for the fire department because I think they were really dealing with it, so. Thank you again, Chris, and the health department know that we really do appreciate their service.
Yep, will do, thanks.
I do definitely appreciate what they do, so.
Just need a motion for information, or
Yep, acceptance information.
if I can do that.
Move to accept out of all this information on. Carried.
Thanks, Chris.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
I was just wondering, could we possibly jump into, we have people waiting for East Central? Rather than make them out. Just a suggestion. We're running a little behind here.
Yeah, right.
Speed up. That's all right with that, or?
We're in two?
Yep.
The handy bus?
No. No, it's an in-camera session, 16.2.
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
okay. We'll
If council's all right, I would make a motion to go
jump
into,
ahead to 16.2.
go into camera.
Move to go in camera, all in favor? Carried.
Yeah, we're gonna take you out again.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, so just finished it off the live stream here again.
Who is it?
The East Central engine.
Oh, okay, wasn't sure.